Today, we have Greg Scully, Manager of Nonprofit Resources and Community Partnerships for 501 Commons. Welcome, Greg, and I hand the baton to you.
Thank you, Christina, and thank you everyone at One Eastside. You're just a fabulous organization and partner to work with. I really appreciate your inviting me here today. And welcome everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining me today for today's webinar on growing your online fundraising with GiveBIG. This is really the what, the how, and the why of our Washington's annual community giving event and our 4th year of hosting GiveBIG. And I'm really excited to show you how you can grow your fundraising through our campaign and our year-to-year fundraising program. Advance the slide, thanks. First, a little bit about 501 Commons. I like to say we're kind of the best kept secret in the nonprofit world here, or one of them. The GiveBIG campaign and the Washington Gift platforms are powered by 501 Commons. We are also a 501c3 organization, and we provide 30+ services that amplify the strengths of your nonprofits. So we can provide just the amount of experience you need through contracted HR. We have back office finance, database solutions, and other technology services. We also provide management consulting, including board development, facilitation, strategic planning, and all of these are on a sliding fee scale. So if you need help with your data or you want to select and maintain your clients and volunteers, where do you start? Well, give us a call and we'll work with you. So thank you. We hope that you'll visit 501commons.org. Go ahead. So let's move on to today's schedule. It's a little bit of this really an overview of introduction of what is GiveBIG, and then address why nonprofits should participate and how nonprofits can make the most out of GiveBIG. And we'll wrap up with Q&A where I'll be happy to answer your questions about the campaign and the Washington Gives platform. So if you could put your comments in the chat, that would be great along the way. So what is GiveBIG? We're going to go over the parts of the why that I mentioned here. So simply put, GiveBIG is a state fundraising campaign where individuals and organizations, we all come together and invest in our communities giving to nonprofits. And this year's campaign kicks off on April 19th, was just a little over a month away, with early giving, and it culminates with an exciting 48-hour giving event on May 3rd and 4th. GiveBIG is hosted by Washington Gives, on the online platform that helps individuals and groups and businesses discover and donate to nonprofits, and actually all year round. I'll get to that in a moment. GiveBIG campaign and Washington Gives platform are open to all nonprofits across Washington State. And we recognize all IRS approved tax exempt organizations with headquarters or have service locations in Washington State. So this includes 501c3s, 501c4s, and C6s and C19s. If you don't know what those are, then you probably aren't one of them. But if you are one of those, you know what those codes mean, as well as tax exempt Washington State government programs. So if you have questions about eligibility, you can always visit the Washington Gives website and go to registration. Next slide, please. Thank you. All right, so the intent of GiveBIG and Washington Gives platform is to support the vital work that brings hope, health, and happiness to the state, to people in the state. So nonprofits raise the needed funds, they increase the awareness of their cause on how to reach new donors, and they deeper engagement with their current supporters, and they build their capacity through fundraising communications training. Individuals discover new nonprofits and support critical needs in their communities and become champions for the causes that they care about. And then businesses can demonstrate how they act on their values and amplify the work of nonprofits and their supporters and reach new audiences. Next slide, please. So that's the big, broad overview, but why should nonprofits participate? Why what are the benefits to joining the program? The number one reason is to participate in a statewide giving campaign is to reach new audiences. Every spring, the excitement of GiveBIG builds through word of mouth, through social media, and an extensive multimedia promotional campaign with local celebrities, sports teams firing at the community to show their generosity. With a public campaign valued at over $500,000, that's the media campaign, plus the efforts of over 1,700 nonprofits and their supporters, GiveBIG really drives a lot of awareness that really no one organization can drum up on its own. So once people visit the site, they find that it's really easy, and they discover a way to donate to organizations by keyword, by mission, by location, Eastside, and the demographic cert. So we know that donors are really likely to give to nonprofits through GiveBIG because 20% of the donations in 2021 were indicated as being the first time gifts, and that's a lot of folks. So GiveBIG is an excellent way to grow your donor base. Next slide, please. So GiveBIG is really a great way to deepen your engagement with supporters, and you providing them with an easy opportunity not only to give your organization, but to spread the word, and they can even fundraise for you. The people who know your market, can best easily share your page, run a fundraiser for your organization, or provide a matching fund incentive way to give for others to give. And GiveBIG is an opportunity to activate your board, volunteers, and current donors to reach new supporters by sharing why they wake up at 6 a.m. on a Saturday to volunteer their time, and why they're passionate about your mission, and why others should join them in giving to your organization. Next slides. So how do you reach all these audiences and deepen your engagement? And how do you make that ask, or how do you design your campaign? 501 Commons and our partners provide ample opportunities to learn through webinars on topics like goal setting, storytelling, matching gifts, peer-to-peer fundraising, and twice a month newsletter that has timely tips to guide you through your campaign. So customizable resources like a campaign guide that you can customize and use for GiveBIG and other fundraisers. It's really easy to use these templates for social media and year-round technical and fundraising support from 501 Commons and Mighty Cause, which is our technology partner in this campaign. All of these resources can build your fundraising and marketing skills, not just for GiveBIG, but also for individual and online fundraisers in general. And the skill building opportunities are open to everyone at your organization. Next slide, please. With your expanded skills, you also have access to Washington Gives platform year-round. And I kind of think this is the one of the hidden gems of this. It's not just the April 19th through early May. If you don't have a way to put together easy and customizable way to accept donations, or you want to offer monthly giving to your donors, you can use the Washington Gives platform as a great way and a low-cost way to fundraise online. And the receipting is handled through the platform, leaving you with more time to just really thank your donors. Additionally, the fundraising pages for supporters can be run at any time. And you can also list the event and volunteer listings and manage your registration through the Washington Gives website. The next slide. So it is relatively low cost and quite a bit low cost. So participating in the organizations that participate in Washington Gives pay a two-part fee for their annual access to the platform and GiveBIG. An upfront registration fee is $15 to up to $240, and it's based upon your contributed revenue of the organization. Essentially, what you budget to fundraise and essentially what you budget to fundraise in a year. So the participation fee is deducted at the end of GiveBIG and which is 2.3% donations raised between April 19th and May 6th. There's also a fee on donations made on the platform, which is 4.6% plus 30 cents per transaction. But the good news is 86% of donors choose to cover that fee when they check out. So if you're going to give $100, they would be giving like 100, what would that be, 105 or so, a little bit more. So it makes your actual fees for running GiveBIG just 1%, a little bit less than that. So let's say, for example, you budget to raise, I don't like this example, quite frankly, the $20,000. Really, it's a way of showing that your fees are really low. Next slide, please. So I hope you are now a little bit more interested in joining the campaign. Let's talk about how you can make the most out of GiveBIG. There are really two main strategies I want to talk about: matching funds and peer-to-peer. And I've talked about them just briefly, but let's dig in a little bit more. So matching funds are donations that your organization raises before the campaign that will be given if you reach a specific target, generally to equal the match funding amount. So for example, an organization that has arranged to receive $1,000 from a local company, if they can raise another $1,000 through online donations. The matching funds are one of the biggest drivers for success on the GiveBIG on any fundraising campaign. They lead to increased responses from donors, they increase the size of your average gift, and they lead to larger gifts. Matching funds are an opportunity to really deepen your engagement with your current donors or a group of donors in your database, in your organization, excuse me. The most common matching fund donors are board members, major donors, and volunteer committees or groups. So just a side note, I'll get back to this a little later, but boards, if they come together and everybody contributes something on the board, it really says a lot. And so this is 100% of our board contributed to this matching fund. And it doesn't need to be a ginormous number, but it can be something that will help tell the world that that you stand behind your organization too. Your board does, and the matching funds will help you grow your GiveBIG overall. Next slide, please. So for an example, in 2021, the Queen Anne Farmers Market partnered with their board and donors, and they raised a pool of $17,500. And they matched donors who gave through the big campaign. And that year they had their biggest year yet and raised over $28,000. So GiveBIG was an opportunity for the market, the Queen Anne Farmers Market, excuse me, to reach out to their major donors and encourage them to not only give, but also increase the impact of their gift by making a match and to incentivize others to in turn to give. So the board was able to turn their commitment of a pledge and a really personally meaningful gift to the market in a way that was not only encouraging donors, but also for their employers to further match their contributions, and then tripling the impact of one gift. Next slide, please. This is the peer-to-peer fundraising. And the match is not the only way to engage your current supporters and to reach new supporters. Peer-to-peer is a method for fundraising that involves your supporters and raising money for your nonprofit. So it works by empowering your fundraising partners to create their own individual pages, which they can share on social media, email to friends, or post in their work or community groups. This type of social fundraising is also known as social fundraising, personal fundraising, or P2P fundraising, person to person, peer-to-peer, excuse me. And the GiveBIG platform supports the creation of peer-to-peer fundraising for all nonprofits. Fundraisers can easily create and manage their own pages, telling their story of why they give and inviting others to join in. And then in turn, they can further amplify their fundraising by encouraging their donors to invite their friends as well. So it just kind of ripples on in the giving. Next slide, please. So to support your fundraisers, Whoever you recruit, your fundraisers are going to need some support. And here are some ways to support them. So share or customize the toolkit for fundraisers that we have on our website. Host a P2P writing webinar to help fundraisers tell their story and think of ways to promote the campaign. You could create graphics for the page itself and to share on local media and fundraiser as the fundraisers get close to their goals. Images that feature the fundraiser and perhaps you're volunteering at your organization, that would be really effective. And if you can create a fundraising template, you can create a fundraising template on the Washington Gives website and then send it to your supporters via email so they can create their own pages with some pre-made content. So we try to make it as easy as possible for you. Finally, you designate a point of contact and sort of like a head cheerleader for your fundraisers to walk through the process and encourage them along the way. So if you need technical support, you can always contact Mighty Cause over the email or the phone, and they will answer your questions. Go ahead to the next slide, please. So where do you find fundraisers and who are they? Who are these people who are going to be your peer-to-peer fundraisers? So your first stop would be your board. I mentioned that already. Some other potential groups would be to look at donors on the inside there of your organization, who your investors, your people who have invested in you in donations, people who have given, who have been helped by your services, people who have given time as a volunteer, people who are fans of your organization, staff, community partners, and of course, businesses. Essentially, you're really looking for people in groups with a strong connection to your organization and your mission, and they can provide a personal story that they can share to encourage others to give. So these are the same people who also make excellent match providers. You don't need one major donor or one person, on one board member. You can create a pool of smaller gifts and make one big one. So next slide. That's what I have for today. Ignore that bit.ly URL. It goes nowhere. I tested it last night. I apologize, and that I had already sent it in. But I hope you enjoyed the presentation. I went really fast through that. So I want to make sure that we have time for your questions. I hope that you consider going to the GiveBIG platform and trying it out, seeing what it's all about, and see how you can grow your fundraising. And so thank you. Now I'm going to take your questions.
Yep. It is time for the Q&A portion of the program. And a reminder, we are recording this webinar, and we'll send out a transcript of the questions and answers with the links to the webinar slides and resources as a follow-up to you. All right, we have quite a few questions. Let me see. The first one came from Michael Latour, and he asks, Canva.com is a great design tool that offers free pro accounts to nonprofits. They partnered with Giving Tuesday with a customizable set of logos and branding tools on their platform. Is there going to be any sort of GiveBIG tools available in a similar way?
So I'm not familiar with that. Is it a company he's talking about? Maybe I'm not really.
Canva.com. It's a tool that you could use design. So okay. I think what he's asking is, will there be other tools that will be provided to the nonprofits for GiveBIG?
Yes, absolutely, yes. The website, which we're not going to do a demo right now, but the website is quite robust and has everything from graphics that you can download, the GiveBIG graphic that you saw at the entrance of this PowerPoint slideshow, and other tools that you can put onto your website, onto your page for GiveBIG. So yes, there are. And I apologize, I know what Canva is. I thought you said something else.
That's okay. That's okay. All right, the next question is, are donations anonymous, or can everyone see who donated and how much?
It's up to the person who donates. You can click a box at the end and say it's anonymous, or leave it open.
Okay, and then our next question asks, will we have access to donors' emails so we can send a thank you, or how does that work?
Yes, to the nonprofit that's provided. That's correct. At the end, you'll have access to all of those.
All right, perfect. All right, so our next question asks, does GiveBIG promote the fundraiser, or are nonprofits individually responsible for promotion?
I kind of went through it very quickly, but we have a huge media buy that we do every year. It's over $500,000 that goes into primarily local media here. Additionally, the Seattle Times has a pull-out section they do. And so there's a wide variety of different media on social media and in the general in the community. So yes, it would be up to the organization to maybe, I would recommend putting it on your webpage, maybe a little link to it on your front page, promoting it through your newsletters and such, and will be supported by that larger, broader community campaign that gets out via all sorts of different media outlets. So yes.
All right, good. Next question, just to clarify, our organization will be listed on the website year round after the 2-week event. Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
All right. Next question from Debbie Lacey. Do you have data on the average donation amounts received by organizations with budgets at different levels? What is the average for smaller organizations with budgets under 500,000?
I'd have to get back to you on that. I don't know the exact number and I'd be taking a guess at it. So I apologize for that. If you don't mind, I'll get that back. I'll get back to that person later.
Okay, sounds good.
Organization.
Let's see. The next question asks, if we host an in-person event during GiveBIG and we receive cash donations, can we add that to our fundraising total?
Sure.
All right, perfect. All right, and I think it's another question about the costs. So there's a little bit of confusion of how much it costs, and I think we'd like some folks are asking you to explain it again and maybe create a simple, or is there a simple calculator that you can use? So I'll flip it back to you.
Yeah, it's pretty strict. I apologize for that slide. I didn't create it, and I didn't like the one that had that 5,000 and 20,000 on it. It was kind of confusing. So I agree with you on that. There is a fee that you pay as an organization. It's a sliding fee that goes from like, what was it, 25 up to, you know, a few $100s, depending upon the revenue size of your organization. That's a one-time thing. And then you will be paying a fee to participate in that or in the GiveBIG also. Each donation that comes in, it would be a small percentage of that. And then in addition, the donors themselves give a very small fee. So there's kind of 3 things, a very, very small, you know, a couple $100s max of the first initial one, and then a certain small, very small percentage of each individual donation to GiveBIG, and then the donors do. So overall, it's relatively small. I realize it does go to pay for some of that promotion. It goes to pay for the platform itself. It goes to pay for, there are a lot of people involved on, actually a lot of the work that we get is pro bono. So it's relatively small fee. I apologize. I think what I need to do is get you a better sheet. Well, we can point you to the website. It's much clearer there. I would just say go to the website. You'll really clearly understand. Thanks, Christina.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. The next question asks, I work for a new nonprofit founded last year. Is this campaign for new organizations too?
Sure. If you're registered with the Secretary of State as a nonprofit, yes.
All right, next question asks, do you have any data on the funds that nonprofits raise on the Give Washington platform outside of the 2 annual campaigns?
You mean?
I think as a whole, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not. I'm sorry, Christine. One more time.
That's okay.
Is it like what it does outside of the campaigns? What is that? The person?
I believe so. Yeah, it specifically asks outside of the 2 annual campaigns. Is there more fundraising that happens or contributions that happen outside of the campaigns? And is there any information on that?
I would have to look that up again too. I don't know. I focus on the GiveBIG big, so I really don't. I'd
That's
have to find
okay.
out.
And that's why we do record this webinar and we do send resources out afterwards. So if there is additional information that we can't answer here, hopefully we can then send it out to everyone who's on the webinar today.
Right.
Let's see. The next one from Kim asks, are there any detailed instructions for how to create and share the P2P templates? We tried it last year and it was quite difficult to figure out.
I'm glad you asked that, because it's actually my favorite thing of GiveBIG is P2P. And the really good news is, I mentioned earlier, we switched to a new platform. It's now called Mighty Cause, and I dare say it is much easier than the previous platform that we used the previous 3 years. And second, there is a link on there for the training of that. There's a live training that's going to be happening that I'm going to be recording in a couple of weeks on P2P, and then that will be always on the website. What we did, I'm going to riff just a little bit on that. So yes, there's that P2P training, but also all the other trainings that we're going to do are going to be on the GiveBIG website after they're presented. So if you can't make it for the live one, no worries. And they're going to be in little smaller snippets. And what I mean by that, you don't have to watch a 3-hour presentation on doing, I want to get to the P2P section, which is at the end. You can just go right to that and learn how to do that. In addition, the tools on the website are, I dare say, much easier and better than previous years. So I hope you will give it another shot.
All right, great. Our next question comes from Nina. How long does it take to receive the funds donated to the nonprofit?
It takes a fair amount of time, because sometimes, not huge amount of time, but sometimes when there are matching contributions from organizations and so forth, we have to collect those. It's about, I think it's into a month or so. That does take a little bit of time to do all that, because if you have employee matching funds and that sort of thing, you have to make sure you put all those things together and reconcile that with the company.
All right. Let's see. Our next question asks, can you please lay out the timeline and recap any important dates? I missed half of it while I was taking notes.
Oh, sorry. The important part is the timeline is right now. I would say go to the website and just check it out. I don't mean this second, but right in this week, check it out. Work with your organization, decide to launch and jump in. The official launch is the 19th of April. You don't have to do it on that day, but that is when it's announced and open. And frankly, a lot of people don't donate until towards the end. It's just that's when they decide what they're going to do. So the end is going to be early May this year. So it's pretty much you've got about a month to do all your planning right now. Follow those trainings. Get in touch with us if you have any need of that sort of thing. But it is relatively simple to set it up. And right now is the time to get online and work on that.
All right, perfect. All right, I have another question here. It asks, my organization is not a nonprofit yet, but we have a fiscal sponsor. Should I register my organization or our fiscal sponsor for GiveBIG?
I think you can register your organization, because the fiscal sponsor, in fact, I believe this is true. I could check on it to absolutely verify, but your fiscal sponsor is that's why you have a fiscal sponsor. They're accepting the funds on your behalf. And so you would put your name in there, and then it would run through the organization to your fiscal sponsor, and the funds would be delivered to you that way.
Okay, sounds good. All right, and reminder, please put any questions you may have in the Q&A box. Okay, and we have our next question, which asks, the system recognized my tax ID, but the name of the organization associated with it is old. How do I change it?
Why don't you reach out to us at 501 Commons, and we'll take care of that.
Okay, is there a generic email?
Info at 501 Commons.
Perfect. All right.
Excuse me.
Oh, go ahead. What was it?
I apologize. I gave you half an address. Info at 501commons.org.
Okay, yeah, that's helpful. Thank you. And I didn't even catch it. So thank you for that. All right, let's see. Our next question asks, do you have any training webinars coming up aimed at specific features like matching?
Yes, and those again will be on the website. They are on the website, and there are, like, I believe 6 trainings that are coming up, including the peer-to-peer and really just all the things that you would want to know on how to put this together. So those are all listed on the website.
All right, all right. Well, I've listed through all the questions we have so far, and I figure let's give a minute or so for anybody to come up with some additional questions. But Greg, why don't you kind of give us your kind of like final thoughts or tips or kind of like parting words of wisdom. And then if we have any questions, we'll jump back into that. And if not, then we'll close early.
Well, it's like we said in the beginning, this is a great way to grow your donor base. So 20% of the people who come on to the GiveBIG are new to the campaign and may be new to your organization. So it's not always just a fundraiser, it is that, and it adds value because you're adding new friends, new donors, possibly new volunteers to your organization as a nonprofit. So it's just a fabulous way to stay in touch with the community and keep your donors engaged with you. People like being acknowledged. You can do little fundraisers for them. Say that we've got some corporate sponsors who are going to be giving us some funds where they can, if they're the top person who donated to your organization on X date, they can get a small prize or something, however we want to set that up with you. So yes, it's just such a great opportunity for you to be out in the community, get your name out there again, and stay in front of everybody. So there you go.
Great. All right. We do have a couple more questions here, which I think you answered one of them. One was asking again, when does the nonprofit receive our donated funds? I believe you said about a month out, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And the next question is, can we get help designing the image?
The image,
I'm thinking, my thoughts are maybe this is 501 Commons and GiveBIG will have an image that they can use.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
So there'll be materials that can be.
They can download the PNG, EPF, all those different file formats.
So they don't have to, no one has to design their own image unless they want to. But they can, the 501 Commons and GiveBIG will provide them all the marketing tools that they can use.
Yeah, the platform is made. It's all, pretty much it's set where it is, and then you can move your things around. What is your organization about? What is who are you serving? And telling your story on there is going to help augment that with some pictures and those logos of the GiveBIG you're talking about. Those logos you can also use on your website and then do a hyperlink directly to your page and so forth.
I find storytelling being one of the things that really makes a difference. Are there any tips that you have or best case studies or whatever on how to tell your story the best way possible?
Very short vignettes, and I mean short, not big, long, things that you would show at a fundraiser for 5, 7, 10 minutes, maybe a minute or two, just really crisp. Getting maybe a volunteer or maybe a client and saying, I work with XYZ organization, best thing ever. I highly support you, highly engage you to support us on GiveBIG or something like that. Those things, those testimonials, those personal things really add a lot of value. Pictures.
That's good. Yep. I find people love pictures and testimonials. So I would agree with you. So excellent. Thank you. Good tips. All right. We have another question. It asks, there is a campaign feature on my page. What information do I put there?
Campaign feature on your page. Does it not have any instructions on that too?
I don't know.
You don't know, Christine. I keep asking you the questions and you're not the one who's doing them.
That's okay. They said they didn't see any instructions. So if there is, maybe maybe we'll get back to everyone on
I
that too.
apologize. I don't have it up.
No,
in front
well,
of me.
this
I
is a
saw.
great opportunity to get all these questions so we can get them answered before
Yeah.
April 19th. So, so
We'll
don't
get them
worry
out.
about, we'd rather get them the right information than just
Yeah.
giving them an answer, right?
Right.
So this is a perfect opportunity for us to gather all your questions. And please know, if you have additional questions after this webinar ends, please don't hesitate to go right to 501 Commons with that question, or you can also go to us and we can go at info@oneeastside.org, and we can also forward your question to 501 Commons as well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't see any other questions here in the Q&A, and I know they've been trying to get the ones out of the chat here, and I think we're good. I just got the note that we have answered all the questions. So
thank you.
Thank you, Greg, for your time and expertise.
Like we're right on time, so thank you very much.
That's perfect. All right. Thank you for your time and expertise, Greg. We really appreciate it. And we appreciate all you who are attending today, all very much. I want to say thank you again to all our partners on the East Side who are working hard to support our business community. I want to make sure you bookmark this site, oneeastside.org/spark. And there you will find key resources, information on our no-cost one-on-one advising, our weekly webinars, and grant opportunities as they become available. And a big thank you to all of you here for participating in our webinar today. And so until we see you again, this concludes our program. Thank you.